What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So this is part 8 of the Tomb Raider Let's Play. So in this particular episode we're going to go through the tutorial as far as those pitches going to happen. So basically I figured I'd get this primer and up stage of the game just in particular just because of the concept that if stage 2 is particularly giving me problems, I would definitely say that probably later stages. I looked up a walkthrough on YouTube several days ago and I had seen that the particular pitfall that you have where you fall in the pool if you mess up, that's not going to be in later stages. So I definitely think a primer for this particular game is necessary just within the pitch behind it. Just would kind of have to say. So if I'm having difficulties with stage 2, then I definitely think, like I was saying, it's probably going to be a lot more uphill from here, I'd have to say. So we're going to go through the tutorial and just kind of figure out some stuff as far as what to do. So the thing about it is, though, is I am going to talk throughout this. So Lara Croft does talk when you're supposed to do things. She teaches you how to use the controls of the game. But I think, the tutorial is really not that difficult. It's not really something that you know, if you're not playing, it's just easier to own the game and have the tutorial play through in it that way as opposed to having it through a Let's Play. I suppose some Let's Players, considering that this is basically like a blind run here, I'd have to say that some Let's Players probably wouldn't even showcase the tutorial and like the walkthrough, so it's just the pitch behind it as far as having some extra stuff as far as that kind of goes. But yeah, so it's interesting just being able to see the jumping around in this particular game just because I look after it. Like, I think the thing about it is, if I ever do wind up beating this game, I'll probably not be used to like playing Tomb Raider 2 for the PlayStation. I'd have to say this because I assume that one probably uses the DualShock, which this game didn't because it came out before the DualShock. But just being able to say, I'm kind of starting to get used to the controls in this game, which I wasn't before. You know, just judging from playing like PlayStation 2 games, you know, like Grand Theft Auto 3 or like games like that, you know, Prince of Persia, some of those types of ones where you would just be able to use the joysticks to move around. But it's actually not that bad, you know, just using like the D-pad and stuff as far as trying to figure out what to do. I probably think eventually at some stage I'll probably be spoiled for it. But yeah, this is kind of the pitch behind it, so it's just kind of the concept of just figuring out the set forth for some of that. It's kind of within the concept of it, so... Now, I'm not particularly sure if I fucked around and did everything in Lara's house. I know there's at least 3 segments. This is the second one. The first one is just the jumping, learning the initial kind of controls. I don't know if there was more in this particular room. I just kind of sailed through it. It doesn't really give you like pointers as far as telling you, okay, this is the next thing you have to do. So it's just kind of within the concept. You have to kind of, I just probably would have the assumption as far as saying there's only so much to really get. But yeah, I will say though that just within the concept that the thing about this particular game is it's not really like a snappy kind of game here. You realize that running around, it gives the enemies plenty of time to attack Lara just within the pitch behind it. And it just kind of has like the tone of like, luckily you don't have to aim when you shoot her guns as far as those pitches going to happen, but it is kind of within the fair as far as saying like, you know, just kind of within the fair as far as saying that, I really, for the most part, I would almost question as to whether or not like the most difficult part of this game is going to be the jumping parts, the platforming stuff, or the puzzles. I don't think it'll be the puzzles, but just the concept of whether or not. I assume that there's boss characters in this game. The bears are kind of annoying thus far. Those are the annoying enemies that I've seen up to this point. But this makes me question what sort of enemies are going to be in later, because I actually have not watched this whole game. It is completely a blind playthrough just within the fair behind it. Just me being able to say like, just not knowing what to expect from this particular game. I want to keep it that way because I do like the aspect of at least playing through this game to have some stuff. I feel like one of this game's true magnitudes of succeeding upon is just its tedium. I really feel like this is a game that's just very frustrating, but it's fun. It's a fun kind of frustrating just within the sense behind it. Or I just look after typically when you die in a game or like you jump off like the cliff like I did here with Lara, it's just kind of the concept that you'd be like, oh damn it, now I have to do it again and pitches like that. But it's just more frustrating of situations to kind of get within that. It's just kind of where it's compelling enough or it just has the right kind of amount of this like frustration. I realize that I could be eating my words here in the future when I get to later stages where you die and then you have to do multiple scenes again just to be able to get back to that specific spot. But I'm hoping it won't be that way. I really hope that this is not going to be a gnashingly kind of annoying game just within that pitch as far as saying like But it's good to know these controls as far as being able to walk. Just the concept so you don't have to run off the cliff. Because that was another thing I didn't know back when I attempted this in 2022. This would have helped sailing. I don't even think I would have taken these 30 months off, or approximately 30 months off, had I known about this 2.5 years ago. It would have been the pitch. All it takes is knowing the tutorial. It's kind of the concept. I mean, some folks jump right in. That's an underrated feature in in video games is tutorials. I mean, some folks just feel like, oh, I just want to get to it, but I actually am not mad that I went back and did the tutorial for this game. It's pretty dope. Just being able to say. So I just look after it here.
If a jump is too far,
Fun little game here. This is a top-notch PlayStation game, I'd have to say. Is this within the pitch? Now, I don't know how. I know that at least Tomb Raider 2 is an excellent one as well, and I look after it. It just makes me question. I know that there were at least 5 of these for the PlayStation 1. There was like a Tomb Raider Chronicles that was after like the Last Revelation. There were 3 of them, and then there was the Last Revelation. And I'm not making promises. Don't expect like virtually anytime soon. I really have even questions if I would even be able to beat this particular game. It's going to be a real kind of caveat just to be able to beat this game. I just question. This would kind of be the concept, but there's going to be more episodes just within the fair. I do get out of the tutorial. I do figure out this particular one, so this is actually a tutorial that goes on into the next episode, so it's going to be a 2-part thing before we go back to stage 2 and attempt that. It is kind of within the pitch, so just be prepared for more tedium here. Go fire up some popcorn, some pitches like that, get some nachos, some of that type goodness to kind of get. This would be some good type fare. I mean, and that's the thing. It's dope when even tutorials wind up being interesting. It's just kind of the pitch behind it. Just have to say, but yeah, it's good stuff. Just being able to say, I think it's underneath the concept that you can tell that Lara Croft is rich. I want to say that she's like an archaeologist or something. It made sense that this game was a movie, just within the fare behind it, but, there's just really, she needs servants. She needs, like, someone, like a butler or something like that to say, like, nice job, Lara, or something like that. And the problem why I'm having, why Lara keeps doing that is because the controller is kind of having difficulties for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. It's kind of doofy, but, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of similar to Devil May Cry, some of those type of games where it's just, or even, when you think of other games like Zelda Ocarina of Time or something like that, where there's just not, much of interaction. But, I mean, it's a great game. It's just kind of the concept that, you want, like, other things. Like, I just wonder where all Lara's girlfriends are in pitches like that. You'd think there'd be someone, just people that can give you like treats and goodies, but I think Lara really just went on like this pleasure cruise by herself. She was just kind of like, hey, I'm going to make some money, and that's going to be kind of the concept there. She just wanted to make like a cool million or whatever she's going to get from raiding these tombs. I'd have to say it's kind of the pitch, but yeah, so that's kind of the concept here. So learning the ropes in this particular game, and it's definitely going to help as long as I don't forget by the time I do the next episode, but I don't think I should. It'll probably be within the next good while, not this month, but we'll get to it. So that's this kind of thing. So yeah, subscribe for more fun, folks. Some good stuff here on the way. There's going to be some more episodes on the way here. Just snack on that popcorn, pizza, nachos, some of that type of goodness. Subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.